And her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway.
So what do? They stop all the primaries. They don't have real primaries anymore. They haven't had a real primary since 2012.
Yeah.
They rig them. They rig it with Bernie Sanders. They rig it with RFK Jr. They're just, the whole business is great.
White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt is making headlines again, taking direct aim at what she says are deep problems left behind by the Biden administration. During a heated exchange with reporters, she made a striking claim about Nancy Pelosi, accusing her of using the system to benefit herself financially. The room went quiet. Questions about Pelosi's stock trades have circulated for years, but Karoline's comments added a new layer to the debate. She argued this wasn't simply about stretching the rules. It was about shaping them for personal gain. We've got all the key moments coming up, so be sure to subscribe and stay with us. Let's get started. The briefing.
Did you talk with the president about his position on the stock trading ban bill before Congress? He obviously had pretty loaded comments about Senator Hawley. There's some reporting that they've since spoken. What is his position on the current status?
Quickly turned tense when a group of reporters tried to put Karoline Leavitt on the spot. They brought up Senator Josh Hawley's bill to ban insider trading by members of Congress, hoping to spark questions about his recent public disagreement with President Trump, with the two having exchanged criticism just days earlier. Reporters clearly expected the issue to create more political drama. But Karoline stayed calm and never lost her footing. She answered with confidence, kept her message focused, and avoided getting pulled into the back and forth. Instead of feeding the headlines reporters were looking for, she stressed that her job was to address the issues directly rather than get caught up in political theater. What was meant to be a tense moment ended with Karoline staying in control and keeping the conversation on her terms. Karoline's first response.
The president has spoken to Senator Hawley, who called him, and the president took that call. As the president said in the Roosevelt Room yesterday, conceptually, he of course supports the idea of ensuring that members of Congress and United States senators who are here for public service cannot enrich themselves.
Completely knocked down the story reporters were trying to build. She dismissed the idea that there was any real conflict between Senator Josh Hawley and President Trump. According to her, Hawley had simply called Trump and explained what the bill was actually designed to do: ban insider trading by elected officials. There was no secret feud or political betrayal, just a direct conversation about the legislation. She went on to say that once Trump understood the details, he supported the bill. That quickly undercut the narrative many in the press had been pushing. But Karoline didn't stop there. After addressing the question, she turned her attention back to the media, criticizing what she described as its focus on creating stories about Republican divisions. She then shifted to Nancy Pelosi, pointing to the long-running debate over congressional stock trading and raising questions about the significant gains tied to her investments. That certainly caught people.
The reason that this idea to put a ban on stock trading for members of Congress is even a thing is because of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is rightfully criticized because she makes, I think, $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million. In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic to me, grew 70% in 1 year.
People's attention. The bigger question, according to critics, is what happens when lawmakers have access to information the public doesn't. Many argue that even the appearance of using that kind of advantage can seriously damage trust in government. For comparison, long-term stock market returns are often in the single digits over the course of a typical year, though results vary. Critics have pointed to Nancy Pelosi's reported investment performance as unusually strong, saying it raises questions that deserve closer scrutiny. Karoline Leavitt echoed those concerns, arguing that many Americans work hard, save consistently, and hope for modest returns, while some politicians appear to come out far ahead. She said that's exactly why proposals to ban congressional insider trading continued to gain support. And she made it clear she wasn't backing away from the issue. Karoline then widened her criticism, arguing
and her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway.
That some Democratic leaders speak passionately about fairness and economic equality while, in her view, benefiting from a system that rewards those already in power. She suggested there's a gap between a public message and what happens behind the scenes, saying many Americans see a double standard. Turning to Nancy Pelosi, Karoline questioned whether a public salary alone could explain the level of financial success that has drawn so much public attention. She argued that the real concern isn't simply about wealth. It's about whether elected officials should be able to trade individual stocks while holding positions that give them access to influential information. In her view, public service should be about representing the people, not raising questions about personal financial gain. Supporters of the Honest Act say its goal is straightforward: prevent members of Congress.
The president stands with the American people on this. He doesn't want to see people like Nancy Pelosi enriching themselves off of public service and ripping off their constituents in the process. As for the mechanics of the legislation and how it will move forward, the White House continues to be in discussions with our friends on Capitol Hill.
From using their positions in ways that could create conflicts of interest when it comes to stock trading. They argue that elected officials are supposed to put the public first, not leave voters wondering whether personal financial interests are influencing their decisions. Backers of the bill say it's an important step toward rebuilding trust in government. In their view, stronger rules on congressional stock trading would help reassure Americans that public office is about serving the country, not creating opportunities for personal gain. If the legislation is approved and effectively enforced, supporters believe it could mark a major shift toward greater accountability and transparency in Washington. Joe Rogan argued that if Donald Trump had never entered politics, many of the questions people are asking about Washington today might never have.
That's the whole system is so corrupted. Ooh. And it's so obvious, like we're at a stage where like we have enough information to see like that how much greed and money just corrupts the system.
But I don't think we really got to see it until Trump ran. I think you got to see it unveiled in a way when Trump ran that you never got to see before. Because also you got the
gained this much attention. He pointed to issues like congressional stock trading, saying they became part of a much larger public conversation. Whether people agree with Trump or not, Rogan's view is that he challenged the political establishment and pushed topics into the spotlight that many felt had gone largely unquestioned. According to Rogan, that shift encouraged more Americans to look more closely at how Washington operates. Supporters of Trump often argue that one of his biggest impacts was changing how political figures communicate with the public. Rather than relying...
I think you got to see it unveiled in a way when Trump ran that you never got to see before. Because also you got the rise of independent journalism that happens at the same time.
Yeah.
So you have people that report just on the facts, not like this CNN lean or the Fox News lean, but just reports on exactly what's happening and how it happened.